What is up, everybody? I'm NoLucksGiven, and in this video we are going to look at how to play Holy Grail. First, we're going to take a look at this Zelhua game, and then at the end I'm going to share some additional tips for helping you to maybe feel more comfortable playing Holy Grail. Because I know that it can be a very daunting treasure, takes a little bit more getting used to than some of the other ones, but it is also the most powerful treasure. So the payoff is there, especially right now. I think that Holy Grail is really strong right now, potentially the strongest that it has ever been. So you're definitely going to want to try to make use of it and start winning some more lobbies. I locked that first shop because it had the Sherwood Sure Shot pair and then the Genie's Wish, which cast a roll the die for us. So we are looking pretty strong, and we are going to continue to look pretty strong as we get to pick up a pair of crafties in this third shop. And that's great because they're 4/4s because we've got this Fanny, but it is also great because now we've got two pairs. So we're potentially building into some treasures, which will help our crafties be stronger. And yeah, we're looking good. We're moving on to 3.0 as a 45 health Zelhua. Potentially the only undefeated person in the lobby. We'll see how Gwen does, if Gwen manages to win. Okay, they do too, but myself and Gwen are the only undefeated players in this lobby. I'm going to go ahead and take a pair of Lonely Princes here. Again, just trying to play some more pairs. I know that this is like not going to make us that strong for this turn, which is unfortunate, but we're still strong because of the rest of our board. So maybe even if we lose, we won't take that much damage. We're also casting an Earthquake, which kind of negates Jack's Giant's hero power. But Jack's Giant has a really good setup here with some doublies and some black hats, so they are going to be able to get one over on us, and we are going to get our first loss. There's no way that we can break through all of this stuff, but that's fine. 45 health going into 3.0 is basically all that you can ask for as Zelhua. Down to 38, still going to be up on the top of the leaderboard there. We'll pick up Lonely Prince, and then we've got the choice for some interesting treasures. Book of Heroes is looking pretty good on this current board. However, I don't really like to play Royals when I'm playing Zelhua. The reason for that is most Royals cost 4, so Zelhua is only making them cost 1 less. I don't really even typically love to play Slay on Zelhua because, again, I mean, Slay at least has Baba Yaga, Lancelot, Jormungand, but most of the Slay units, the Dragon, the Mermaid, the Grimsoul, are all 4-cost units. And for that reason, I generally like to avoid trying to play Slay or even Royals, or especially Royals, I mean, on Zelhua. So let's just take this locked chest and we'll see what we can do. But the strength that we have on the board again, now that we've picked up a 10-10, is definitely going to help us and give us some flexibility and some time to try to pick up that tier 7 treasure. And we are going to have a nice little combat here for ourselves. Somebody was nice enough to take care of the Fates Humpty Dumpties, so we don't have to do too much to defeat them here, and we'll crack their secret stash and hit them for a little bit of damage. And yeah, next turn we will be on 4.0. We'll finally get to make some use of our hero power. I'm not exactly sure what I was going for here. I think the idea a little bit was try to pick up some more treasures with Crafty and with Sherwood Sure Shot, and that's why I wind up picking up this free roll. I don't love it. I don't think that that is like necessarily the best play there, but we can still roll, potentially find Sherwood Sure Shot or Cinderella, and we find both of them. So it does work out pretty well. We'll pick up Sherwood Sure Shot, and from there, we probably take Needle Nose Daggers and just hope to not lose, or we could take Dragon's Nest, potentially move into like some Slay stuff. The trick with needle nose daggers is if we do lose, then those crafties are going to go back down, but by picking it up, maybe we just increase our chances of our of not losing and getting to keep the daggers. So I go for needle nose daggers there. Interesting decision to be made for sure. And then another interesting decision is the golden chicken or the sleeping princess. And really, I feel like you can go either way with that. I don't think that necessarily one of those is right or wrong. Does look like we are pretty strong here, though I am a little bit afraid of this southern siren. That's going to be able to steal our crafty, but the crafty is not as big when my opponent steals it because it doesn't steal the base stats of crafty. It counts my opponent's treasures rather than counting mine. So that was nice. And then I'm going to go ahead and feed Sleeping Princess to the Kraken. And then we'll roll. Okay, Romeo plus Juliet, that's a pretty easy pickup. And it does look like we are kind of in Royals, whether we like it or not. There was some XP there that we also could have considered, but just rolling. I mean, at this point, I didn't want to play Royals, but I think that I should just look for it. I've got 2 upgraded princesses and princes already, and then a Cindy on the way, and Romeo and Juliet is just a really strong pickup for 4.0. So happy to grab that. Next turn, we will have this locked chest come online, so there is some potential interesting angles from there, and we'll see what we can do. Up against Pup, they do have some big dwarves, but we're looking pretty big too. We're going to be able to take out Donkey without allowing my opponent to spawn anything, so all of that's really good. We'll resummon Juliet, didn't really even need her, and win the combat against Pup. So 1 loss here going into 4.1 as Zelhua. All of that is really good. Generally, I don't like to play mages on Zelhua because the mages, you're not getting any discount picking up Wizard's Familiar or Spellweavers. So let's try to play some things that we'll get a discount on. And I will take a crafty just to complete this treasure. And I'll grab Noble Steed now that we are pretty close to activating Cinderella. And then we also grabbed that Haunted Helm, which is also decent with the Nutcracker. So we could potentially easily activate a Nutcracker here. I'll grab a For Glory, and didn't mention it, but we also grabbed a Prince Arthur as well. So pretty strong board. We now have 3 treasures to make Crafty work. So Crafty is what we're going to put in that Haunted Helm slot. Try to just stay as strong as we can for the most part. And then we've got 2 Royals that we're giving +2/+2 each turn. I don't know how long we're going to stay Royals, but we'll at least check it out for now and see what powerful stuff we can make. I do kind of like having the Noble Steed when I'm playing Royals because we want to complete those treasures anyways. Those are some of the easiest ways to complete treasures when you're playing Royals because you want to spend the rest of your gold rolling for Prince Arthur's for the most part. We are going to get our Romeo sniped on this one, unfortunately, but I think we're still really strong because we've got the Crafty in that helm slot, and I do think that's going to be enough. Though, yeah, this is a close one. This one gets really close. Oh, we actually do lose it. Wow. Okay, so we're going to lose the needle nose daggers, and we are going to lose our For Glory. Kind of a bummer, but we get to pick up a pair of Prince Arthur's here, so that's really sweet. Could have gone for the shrink spell because we were picking up 2 units, but now we get to pick up a forking rod and we get to complete Cinderella just by casting 1 spell. So that's really cool. I'll roll and then I will cast on this Luna's Grace, and that'll give us a tier 3 treasure right now. It'll also upgrade Cindy, which is nice because then Cindy can get buffed from Prince Arthur, but I do have to think about like what I'd actually want to get rid of, so I decided to not cast the spell and roll, and this was a really good decision because now I'm able to pick up Nutcracker and then double cast Falling Stars. And a little bit of an oversight here. I wind up overpaying for the Nutcracker because I assumed that it was a 4-cost unit rather than a 3-cost unit, but that's totally fine. We're going to grab a treasure map off of Cindy right now, and that is how we're going to be getting our tier 7 treasure, because Nutcracker gives 4, then gives 5 for Noble Steed, and then 2 more for the treasure map. So really sweet and interesting way to pick up a tier 7 treasure. We just have to have this Nutcracker survive damage 2 more times, because we are going to be activating it twice here with the falling stars and then once more from combat. So only has to survive 1 more attack. Unfortunately, that won't be on this combat, but good things to come for sure. We will be able to summon our Juliet, but I don't think that's going to be enough. Yeah, my opponent is going to get a win against us on this one, and they're going to walk away with a Wish Upon a Star. So pretty good stuff for them. And we could pick up a Court Wizard, though we're kind of just Arthering at this point, so I'd kind of like to try to potentially pick up some more Arthurs. And then I'm also considering the fact that with a tier 7 treasure, there's a decent chance I'm just going to want to play trees. So I am going to end my, my Cinderella, and then we'll roll a little bit before locking onto another the end, and also a Treant. And I even consider picking up the Heartwood Elder this turn, just because it would give a little bit more health to the Nutcracker, and that could be really good, just ensuring that we get the Nutcracker this turn. We could like sell the Crafty and just to give the Nutcracker just the tiniest amount more health. But I'm going to decide against that ultimately. Just pick up the Tiny, locking the end to cast that next turn. And then we'll be level 6. We can roll, try to find some tier 6 units, and we're Zelhua, so we'll even be able to roll, potentially purchase something this turn if we can find something nice. And up against Mordred, we are going to get that Nutcracker trigger, so that is going to give us our tier 7 treasure. Unfortunately, we don't get the Romeo. Romeo and Juliet have been a little bit unlucky in this one. And I think we are going to get a pretty big loss here. Yeah, we're going to take some nice damage here. We are going to take 10 down to 16, but it's okay because we're getting a tier 7 treasure for our troubles. And I feel like with 16 health, moving on to 6.0, that is going to be healthy enough for my position to pick up a Holy Grail. But just to have a little bit more insurance here, I am going to pick up this Oni King and then the Oni King, so that way I gain a little bit more health with the end, because you gain health equal to the devoured creature's level. So that'll put us up to 21. I think that that's a good place to be. Then I'll pick up the Heartwood Elder and see if we can't roll for some trees. Grimsoul Polywoggle in that shop, but not going to cut it. Really just cast the end there for the HP. I don't really think it was necessary to gain XP at this point, because we're going to have a whole bunch of gold next turn. I just really wanted to be as strong as I could for this turn. And in this scenario, I felt like the strongest thing that I could do really was just gain 5 health. And it's a little bit of a cushion, puts us back up into second place, and hopefully that is enough health that we don't die this turn, and then we get to Holy Grail, and that would be pretty sweet. Up against the Fates, they are looking pretty strong yet again. Fates definitely making a comeback. 40-50 happy little tree. So good for the Fates. Not so great for us. We are going to be taking a little bit of damage on this one, but hopefully it is not too much. We're going to almost be able to clear that happy little tree, but unfortunately not quite going to be able to do it. So we take 10 down to 11. We would have survived regardless. I buy the lucky coin. Definitely don't want to do that. I personally need some experience Holy Grailing, and I should have picked up that Hercules as well, but it comes back around, so we grab it on the second time. And now I'm just looking for trees. You know the 3. Burning Tree, Ashwood Elm. I guess Heartwood Elder's fine too. Maybe we'll figure out something we can do with that. And then also Echo Wood. Could consider Lancelot, especially because we've got the Noble Steed, but I don't want to mess around with it right now. We're not going to be activating it this turn. I really should stop picking up the lucky coins as well, and I should sell off my whole bench. Do as I say, not as I do. Yeah, could definitely use a little bit more practice, but that, I think, is like a good lesson here too. Even though my Holy Grails aren't perfect, I still try to work it and see what we can make happen. I'm going to grab a Gloves of Thieving for our other treasure here. Then see if we can't roll for one more tree before the time is up. And I think we get one. Yes. Okay, we get a Burning Tree. So that adds a little bit more stats to the board. And then, yeah, one more Ashwood Elm as well. And we'll get some nice configuration here. And I think that was ultimately pretty good for a Echowood turn, or Holy Grail turn. We didn't get the Echowood, that's what I meant to say. But everything else looked pretty good for us, and now we are pretty heavily into a trees comp. You can tell already we are going to be strong enough to win this fight against Potion Master, and that is what I love about Holy Grail right now. All you need to do is pick up all the Burning Trees, Ashwood Elms, and Echo Woods that you can find. We also grabbed some Heartwood Elders. You can grab Hercules, you can grab Robinwood, you can grab Green Knight. But the more time that you spend purchasing those good units, Robinwood, Green Knight, Heartwood Elder, the less time that you're going to have to roll for the trees that actually matter. We will be able to grab another Burning Tree here, and that is pretty sweet. What do we go for? Do we go for Evil Eye? It's actually not the craziest treasure, though. I think I'll go for Ambrosia. There's still some stuff that we can do with Ambrosia, despite it being a little bit awkward, because we want to put both of the Ashwood Elms in front of this Heartwood Elder. And that means that the Ashwood Elms can't make use of the Ambrosia slot, but maybe, later on in the game, we will be able to make use of that. Hercules in the back line, not super likely to complete his treasure, so that's a little bit awkward. But we did also pick up the Gloves of Thieving, which is really cool. Gloves of Thieving, I think, is really good right now because, well, if you're playing trees, if you're playing planning on playing trees, playing some very meta comp, like imagine we steal their Burning Tree right here. We're not going to be able to. We have to steal a Lightning Dragon because that's kind of what Lightning Dragon does. But Lightning Dragon does do something nice for us, and that is give us some damage onto Hercules. So Hercules is actually almost completed here. Only needs to get in for one more combat, and we'll be able to activate that. So maybe we could frontline the Hercules. It's really close. It actually needs 2 more attack. We could cast a Burning Palm on Hercules. I actually don't think that's a crazy idea, but I really like casting Beauty's Influence on Ashwood Elm because that's going to mean that we can Evil Twin it in the future and get a whole bunch more stats out of that. Singing Sword is really good. Could toss Ambrosia, could toss the Gloves of Thieving too, but I'm going to toss the Ambrosia. I don't think that we're really making super great use of it. And then we'll throw the Hercules in the front line and try to grab a tier 7 treasure out of that. We do have Evil Twin here now, and that is pretty interesting, though I'm just going to roll past it and we find a few more trees. So we can actually pick up both of these trees this turn by selling out of our bench. The awkward thing with this is we have to decide if we want to play the Hercules or not, because we could just decide that we want to play the Robinwood. It gives us a slightly stronger board, and I do believe that I decide to change out the Hercules at the last second. We also need to run all of the Burning Trees in the front row, and then once in fact you are running the Hercules in the back row, it seems a little bit awkward. So I think I do wind up putting the Robinwood in. Oh no, I don't. Oh, okay. It's just back row Hercules. doesn't really do anything. We do get to steal one of my opponent's units with the Gloves of Thieving, so that's really sweet. But I need to play both Burning Trees frontline because of Singing Sword, and then I need to play both Ashwood's frontline because of the Heartwood Elder. So Hercules is just kind of left stranded there in the back, not going to be able to grab a treasure. But we do grab an Ashwood Elm from my opponent's front line because of the Gloves of Thieving, and then we grab another Ashwood Elm because of the Evil Twin. So pretty sweet stuff there, being able to put together a upgraded Ashwood Elm, which is going to allow us to take an Ivory Owl. And at this point, I mean, I'm not really using Gloves of Thieving. There's only one combat left. Maybe I'll make use of the Noble Steed. I think, I mean, it's so good here because Hercules is going to be able to go up to 23 now because of the Ivory Owls. But also, this is the last combat of the game. I think this is the one where I put the Robin Wood in because really there's nothing that we're going to be able to, like, we're probably not going to tie. We're probably just going to win or lose, and for that reason, we should try to just increase our chances of winning as much as possible. Sometimes, you'll see me have a different opinion on this occasionally. Like, sometimes I will put in a Hercules on the last fight because maybe you tie. I don't really see this one coming down to a tie, to be totally honest. I think we're just probably going to crush my opponent because we had a Holy Grail, and that gave us this extremely powerful board. So yeah, we really popped off here in the end with trees Echowood up to 1700, and then my Burning Trees are bigger than all of their units could ever hope to be. So that is going to be really strong. They are a hat ball fork, and I don't know why they dreamed, but it was probably just their last spell just to get a little bit more stats there in the end. But that is not going to be enough, and we are going to be able to do it in. So that is going to be it for this video. But I did also want to talk about some tips. So I'm just going to have this screen on, I think, while I say it. But if you are unfamiliar, oh, you know what? You know what would be a good thing to look at while we talk about Holy Grail? Let's take a look at my Holy Grail turn again. So if you are uncomfortable, or maybe that's not the best word, but if you aren't super confident in your Holy Grailing, I think, and I mean, I say this for anything, but practice makes perfect. And it's a little bit cheesy, but it's true. And there are ways to practice using Holy Grail. The best way to do it is going to be going into practice mode and then conceding anytime you don't get Horde Dragon. Basically, just keep looking for Horde Dragon because that's going to be the easiest way to grab tier 7 treasures. So once you found a game where you've got Horde Dragon, just power level up to 6 or grab a Hercules, do something, try to grab a tier 7 treasure, and if you find a Holy Grail, always take it. From there, what you'll have to do is time yourself, because typically on a Holy Grail turn, you've got, I mean, it's typically about 70 seconds. You could play around with it. You could give yourself a little bit more time, go up to 80, 90 seconds, work that down as you feel comfortable. But each time you find a Holy Grail as a Horde Dragon in practice mode, you basically get like 6 to 9 attempts at practicing. And the reason for that is what you can do is you just keep rolling, and definitely play with spacebar as roll. Get familiar with that as you want to do to increase your ability to Holy Grail. And buy every Burning Tree, Ashwood Elm, and Echowood that you see. Just buy those 3 units and set a timer for yourself for 70 seconds or a minute or 90 seconds, whatever you need to do. Once the timer goes off, stop, sell all of your units, reset your timer, and do it again. You're going to be able to spend about, I mean, we can take a look at how much gold I spent here. This was, okay, so at the end I had 140 gold, let's say. And at the, or 940 gold. So I wind up spending, oh geez, what's the math on that? It's about 150 gold. And you might start off only spending 80 gold, and then eventually you're spending 150 gold. Oh, and we were also Zelhua. So that's going to change some things too. So we actually would have spent a lot more gold on this turn. This was a pretty good Holy Grail despite some fumbling around earlier on. But the point is that you can spend like 100 of your gold in a minute that you give yourself, and then sell all of your units and then just do it again. And the reason that you want to sell all your units and do it again is so that way if you have any upgraded copies of things, you put those back into the pool and you give yourself the chance to purchase them again. You won't be able to purchase Hercules again, but basically you can just get used to recognizing those key arts and practicing with nothing really on the line, because it is just practice mode. And once you have like 200 gold, you can easily just, even if you're worried about like losing the practice game or something, you can just say, okay, for this one, I'm going to go untimed and I'm just going to purchase with this last 200 gold all the trees that I see, or even make some other silly comp happen. But for the most part, you can put together the comp almost every time, and you'll just be able to practice and get better at it and hone your skills. So that's definitely what I recommend if you want to practice with Holy Grail. And hopefully this video was a good example of why you should do so. I think that trees are just really strong right now. By the way, probably should have mentioned this earlier in the video, but I am going to be doing less tree content over the next week or so. I actually have it set up so that every other day is going to be a mage video. So you might be sick of mages by the end of the week. I know that there's a lot of trees, there's too much trees. You see it on the ladder, you come to NoLucksGiven YouTube channel, you still keep seeing more trees. It's enough already. But I did still want to just draw some attention to this particular strategy because I do think that it can be really strong. But that is going to be it for me today. Let's jump ahead to the end. Just show off this sweet victory screen here one last time. That is going to be it for me today. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm NoLucksGiven. Peace.